turning on the microphone. Hi. And then I'm switching the cameras. Hi, how are you? Welcome to Labyrinth's RPG Sunday. Yay!
Absolutely. Today we're going to be doing world building and specifically building an adventure. Today we're going to be inspired by one of 3 different recent Magic the Gathering settings. We're going to be open a pack and building an adventure to suit.
That's exciting. Let's introduce ourselves first. I am Kathleen Donahue, and I own Labyrinth Games and Puzzles here in Washington, D.C. And this is Camilla Grier.
I'm Camilla. I do a lot of the RPG stuff here. I've been a longtime RPG lover and an avid GM here at the store for a few years now.
Yes, Camilla is in charge of our RPG department. Although I have played some RPGs, I have never run an RPG, and I know very little about world building. So I am just here for ideas, and Camilla's going to teach me how I could possibly run a D&D game.
Absolutely. Today we're not going to be making a masterpiece. Today we're going to be making a full dungeon adventure, whatever it is, in 2 hours with all the details you need, and I'll be sharing all of my secrets for new GMs or GMs who just want to learn. So the first part of that is going to be choosing which setting that we're doing.
Okay, I don't know. I really like, I think that, okay, so we have a Throne of Eldraine magic pack, we have a Theros Beyond Death magic pack, and we have a Zendikar Rising magic pack. Zendikar Rising just came out, and it has kind of an almost D&D theme to it. Like, you have teams that are going adventuring and stuff. But I think it's probably my least favorite of the 3 themes. So I want to get rid of this one. I don't want to do it.
Because I don't want to do it at all. So then we are down.
So this are 2 are hard for me. Throne of Eldraine is a fairy tale theme, and Theros is Greek mythology. And I like both of those themes a lot.
I think they're both really great. So we would love to hear from you in the chat which one you think would be most interesting or you want to see an adventure built from.
If there's anybody out there, tell us. And if not, hopefully in the future when you're watching, you'll agree with us. But I think if nobody mentions anything anytime soon, I think that I would like to roll a die.
My personal preference is for Theros, but I'm going to just tell a little bit about the structure of the adventure that we're going to fill in today.
Cool.
To give people a chance to speak up in the chat. Tell us which pack. Can you write that below here or something? Like pick a pack. So we're going to be using something called the 30-minute dungeon. And this is just a structure, because I'm the kind of person who likes structure, makes things easy and obvious, to build our adventure. This isn't formally published, just comes from someone's blog. Specifically, you'll want to Google the 30-minute dungeons are back if you want to find a specific entry. But our adventure is going to have a number of things in it. It will have a hook. It will have a general background. It will have 3 combat encounters. It will have 3 so-called empty rooms. It will have 2 traps, 1 NPC, 1 weird thing, and 1 treasure and magic item. So this is a skeleton that we can adapt and change as we need, but by trying to target each of those things, it'll give us the pieces to make a good adventure, I think.
How do you come up with hooks? I think that would be the hardest thing ever. Like, do you have something that, in your mind works really well to, determine whether a hook works or not?
That's a great question. Usually that's something that I'll do towards the end of it, once I have a sense of what the motivations of the people are involved.
That makes sense. So don't come up with the hook first, kind of develop it, and then think what would really get people into it.
Exactly,
okay,
yeah.
I like that idea.
Usually I start with picking something that I think will be fun and building an adventure around that. But there are lots of different ways that you can do that, that I think all work, whatever is easy for you.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so we've got hook, background, 3 combats, 3 so-called empty rooms, 2 traps. Traps are things that you don't know are coming and then like jump out at you or something,
Yeah.
or like you fall in a hole, or what is the trap?
So a great inspiration for traps is that classic Indiana Jones first movie, going through there one after another, encounters these different challenges that aren't monsters or people who want to fight him. So there's one trap that shoots darts at him. He has to jump across a gap, and he uses his whip. And there's actually ways that we can talk about those traps that give us clues about what makes a good trap and a bad trap.
Okay, cool.
We can cover that later.
All
So,
right. If we have viewers out there, we are building a adventure today, and we decided that it would be fun because I've really liked some of the recent themes of magic boosters, that to do it on one of the recent magic sets. So we have Theros and we have Eldraine. Eldraine is a fairy tale setting, and Theros is Greek mythology. So if you would like to help us decide which one to choose, we're going to choose one in a couple minutes. So if anybody wants to write in the chat which one they think we should do.
I think we're about ready to crack it, though.
Yeah,
actually.
I know. Really like the idea of this, but you like this one better, right?
Let's do Throne of Eldraine.
Well, let's roll a die.
Okay.
You want to?
I think that my general rule for whenever I'm coming up with something is pick something where it'll be easy for me to make stuff and have obvious answers at hand.
Okay, then Throne of Eldraine. I think I could do Throne of Eldraine better. As much as I love Greek mythology, obviously the store's named Labyrinth. I think I really love fairy tale stuff.
Absolutely.
And this was my favorite theme of a magic set that's ever been created. Like, I absolutely love this.
I was so excited when it came out. Okay, so let's open our pack.
Okay.
We're going to go one by one, and without thinking too much about it, we're just going to talk about the cards, show them to the camera, and see what we think.
Okay. There is a prized griffin. I like that.
Yeah. I see it's big. You can see it's bigger than, there's a little person down in the corner. So this might be one of our monsters. And let's read the flavor text.
Okay.
Do you want to read that one? We'll take turns.
Okay. I wrote these tales with a quill made from a griffin's feather, and the winning of that feather is quite a tale itself. Shulaine, teller of tales. So that's really nice. So there's some story aspects there, and
Shulaine is maybe a character we can call upon.
Yeah, Shulaine, I like that.
I have Wishful Merfolk, a blue creature. So a lot of the magic cards will tell us it is a creature or an artifact, so that can connect to this. It's a defender. It can turn into humans, and it says, she yearned to walk on dry land, so she might take her vengeance there. Okay.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. I have 7 dwarves. 7 dwarves, the gleam of rubies, and my brother and sister by my side. What more could I want? Borgnol the Third. So we have some treasure-seeking dwarves. That might be fun.
And look at the place in the background there.
Yeah, it's very. It looks like a mine, and it has chandelier, or what are those, sconces on the walls with fires, and that would be cool.
I noticed that it looks like there's really heavy bags full of rocks in the background, and like jumping on those and dropping on them and stuff is super D&D.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Outflank. This is a spell about kind of doing a combat thing. With the drum of hooves and a flash of blades, the monster's terrifying roar changed to a cry of fear. And you can see there's a large creature here getting attacked by a bunch of knights. Might think of.
This is a little child, it looks like. This is a curious pair, 2 young children. And it says, it's gingerbread like mother makes. What is there to be afraid of? So they're going out, and they've just found the witch's house. So that would be interesting. I like witches' houses.
Maybe that's our motivation.
Yeah.
Go save those children. I have a ghost knight. Even death cannot diminish the persistence of the knights of Lochthwain, let's say. What do you have next?
I have Redcap Raiders. Goblin Warriors. That's cool. I admire their courage as much as I despise their savagery. So some very savage goblin warriors that are out to attack people. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Ooh, a mystic sanctuary.
Yeah, okay, so we've got an island here with some magical stuff going on there. Lands are always going to be good inspiration for us.
I have another Merfolk. Merfolk Secret Keeper. Merfolk curiosity usually has dire consequences, but rarely for the merfolk.
Hmm.
So a very curious merfolk.
Okay, we've got a fierce witch stalker, which looks like a big monstrous wolf. While
Okay.
the realm has laws, in the wilds, there are other ways of balancing power. Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. This one, drowned in a lock. This is an instant. So somebody is drowning in the mystic sanctuary, apparently.
Yeah, maybe because of merfolk.
Yeah, maybe the merfolk are drowning people
All right.
in the mystic sanctuary.
I've got a simple clockwork servant, so this looks like a almost Pinocchio mechanic kind of situation. This might make a fun little NPC or an annoying kind of mook.
Mine is an Oakham adversary. It's an elf warrior. He has death touch, so he's very deadly. He remembers every secret path from the days when they ruled the realm. So he is a very knowledgeable, deadly elf warrior.
And we know that elves have secret paths.
Yep.
I have a worthy knight, and it says every Ardenvale aspirant must step through the flame. Their honor determines whether they burn or shine, which feels like a magical trap to me.
Yeah.
Somehow
Some
notices
kind
like
of flame. Yeah.
maybe there's like a
good.
treasure room with temptations or something like that. Okay, so we've got a lot of pieces here, and I think the next thing for us to do is to start thinking about what kind of themes are here, where we might want to group things together. So this drowning in the lake, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to meet some merfolk in our adventure. I think too, I liked your idea of like rescuing children. I don't know if they're at the gingerbread man house or whatever, but some kind of like night and a party going to rescue some kids that are in trouble might be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think so. So what if we're in a Hansel and Gretel type situation and we are following their breadcrumb trail? So like step by step, we're retracing these kids through the forest, and like, oh, there's like a bunch of goblins that they escaped from that are running through the forest hunting after them, something
Yeah, that
like
would be
that,
kind of fun.
like
Yeah.
over the river and through the woods,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. That might be fun. And do the merfolk help us, or are they mean and terrible and horrible merfolk?
I don't know. I think because this is such like an interesting place and we've got some cool things about it, that might be a fun place to finish.
Okay.
Because I think like a big fight that's in and out of the water with people drowning would be a good set piece to finish things off with.
Okay. So maybe we're following the kids in the woods, and maybe they've been captured by kind of the evil dwarves and taken down to the mines and something, and we have to go into the mine. Maybe a secret pathway would take us into the mine.
Ooh, okay. Or a secret pathway is how the kids got out.
Oh, maybe we use a secret pathway to get out. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then
Here are our kids, the
yeah,
curious pair.
and there are a few pieces here that we still haven't
Oh, I
used on the
love the
bottom.
griffin.
I love the griffin too.
Yeah.
I think the griffin might be fun. So as a rule of thumb, I think a great way to save yourself labor is to make small things that will start interacting with each other.
Okay.
And then you can just make it up as you go. So if the griffin is kind of involved in the whole thing somehow in parallel, that could be a fun part.
Okay.
Like it keeps showing up or something like that.
Okay. The wolf is obviously some kind of monster that's gonna chase us in the woods at some point, I would think, because that wolf is really scary.
Exactly.
Maybe he's a witch's wolf or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about like so we have so far a couple different little places. There's like a dwarven mine that they escape from. I'm imagining that there's maybe a forest in between, and then we end at the lake.
Okay.
So then we have this kind of middle period in the forest, which is I think maybe what we can do something interesting with.
So are the kids escaping, and who are the adventurers? Like, are the adventurers gonna go and help the kids escape, or how is it working?
What if it?
Are the dwarves gonna come after them?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about the relationship between the kids, the dwarves, and the raiders. So, um, hmm. So let's leave. I think if that's an open question and we don't have an obvious answer, let's move on to another thing and
Okay.
we'll come back to it.
No, that's fine.
So I'm gonna start looking back at our list of kind of different things here.
Okay.
And how we want to identify stuff. So our hook is probably this curious pair, I think. The general background is, so what's that going to be? Is that our Hansel and Gretel story? Our general background is going to be like in the forest on the fringes of somewhere versus the big city or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, yes, I like that. I like the woods and the forest. And,
Probably literally the enchanted forest.
yeah.
Why
That's
not
cool.
the enchanted forest?
The enchanted forest.
Great.
Yeah, I like that.
So for our 3 combats, we're going to have, I think, one at the end with these merfolk.
Definitely.
I think there's probably the trick is you think the kids have gone to the sanctuary in the middle of the island, but it's actually like a trap. You have to cross the water and then like the merfolk grab you out of the boat and it's a surprise.
Oh, okay.
So we have one combat with our merfolk. We have, do we want a combat with...
I think we need a combat in the mine. I think that would be really cool, like having all the mine and the rocks could fall and there could be traps and things, but I definitely think we need to fight some dwarves.
Yeah. So do you think maybe the goblins are over in the forest?
Goblins? Yeah, I definitely think the goblins and the wolf would be in the forest.
Okay. So let's over here in the forest, let's pick one of these things for kind of a fight to focus on.
I don't know. The wolf is just so fairy tale-ish to me.
Like just like a huge big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the concept of a big bad wolf in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say mashup of all of the fairy tales.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
So we know that they get to the forest by taking the elvish secret path out of the mines there.
Yeah.
And what clue do we kind of have that's going to lead us over to this wolf or something else that might be in the forest? So I'm going to take some other things sort of out of the frame for a minute so I can focus on these. Maybe we should think of a specific place in the forest. Like, are we at the wolf's den, or are we going to go to a griffin's nest? Or is there some old Ardenvale like knight temple in the forest that the kids have taken sanctuary in?
Maybe.
And then there's like a mosaic in there or something, some old legend, which sends them to the mystic sanctuary.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
There could be a ghost.
Yeah, that's the perfect place for a ghost.
Yeah.
Potentially even a ghost wolf? I don't know.
Ooh, a ghost wolf? That would be cool.
Yeah, like maybe the ghost wolf and the griffin are like day and night in this one location or something like that. So you're choosing which one is there. I don't know. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
And outflanking might be a key mechanic for this fight.
Okay.
And then we'll just save these goblins and the clock grater to come back to a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay. So we have sort of 3 different chapters for our adventure now. And this one is going to be, because we're following the trail of these specific kids, it is a little bit railroady, but I think the fun is going to be by making these really open and interesting situations as we're going through.
What do you mean by railroady? Tell me what that word means.
Good question. So if I tell you we're going to start with these dwarves as you bust down their front door and you're in a fight with them, or if I tell you we're going to start this place of the dwarves with your group sneaking in through their tunnels, but I don't give you the choice to do that, that can be a lot less fun. Because when you choose like the strategy, you get to express yourself or your character. So as much as possible, we want to give our players those opportunities.
Do we want our players to be maybe in jail with the kids in the dwarves, and then they get to choose what they're going to do to get out of the like locks?
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe they've been captured by the dwarves too, and then the kids are brought, and we're like, oh, we got to get out of here and get these kids out of here.
Um, what if I really like that idea that you two are captured together, because then you start with the kids and they're not abstract, they're real.
Mm-hmm.
What if it starts with you're in like the cell across from these kids because the group of you got beat up by dwarves in the night, whatever. We can be a little bit aggressive with a premise like that. And then the kids escape through a secret passage in their cell, and you're across on the far side. And like, and that's how you start. So you're like, maybe I can escape out of here and not like work the rest of my life in dwarven mines. If I can get out through this secret tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Maybe so. I like that. We have to fight some dwarves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to start taking some notes that I can kind of move around here. So we've got, or would you like to like write down some details about things for us?
If you want to tell me what to do, yep.
Yeah. So we've got our mines, and we know that there are there are cells in there, and a secret passage, and we're trapped with the kids.
Okay.
So if we want to give them some different options, let's clear out. I'm going to erase some of our things from up here, and we can start drawing out a map for this place.
Okay.
So give me one moment while I go grab our eraser.
If you are watching our live show, we are trying to create a D&D game today, and we are using a magic card from Throne of Eldraine as inspiration. We just opened the pack. We've got some of our ideas starting to form. Camilla is trying to teach me how to make an adventure, and hopefully all of you at the same time. And yeah, one of the things Camilla mentioned was this is her nice mat that she uses to run games. Don't leave it forever with things written on it, because you might be able to see some lines on there. Also, don't ever use dry erase on these. You want to use wet erase, and then you want to clean them afterwards.
That map was there for probably about half a year, and these lines used to be brown. But, so, now we've got, can I grab some of these pens here? So
and I have cell, secret passage, trapped with kids.
Okay. So,
and we should write dwarves, because there are going to be lots of dwarves.
Yeah. Another thing I would love to do is we're going to be coming up with different kind of monsters and treasures and things while we go. And usually I'll just come up with a list of those and then figure out the details later.
Okay.
So can you write monsters at one of the top of those and then put dwarves? So we know that we've got a cell for the party and maybe a cell that these kids are in. And there's going to be some kind of other stuff out here. So what do we think could make for other interesting options? So the Elvish escape, do you think that that escape route is available to the party as well, or do they have to find another way out?
I think they're going to have to go through the dwarves at some point, right? And then maybe the kids, like maybe they're in the thing and the kids say something about like, oh, we know where this wonderful magical thing is or something. And then they escape, but we want to go after them to make sure wherever they're going. So that's how we could follow them into the woods and and then eventually to this mystic lake or something. But I think that we definitely need to have a fight with dwarves if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the people who are playing get to choose, but I think that they need to have to try and sneak out or overpower dwarves or something like that, right?
Yeah. So I think we should start with the kids being like, oh, we discovered, this secret tunnel. The dwarves are coming down the hall to like go get us for our next mine shift. we're going to go, now, sorry, goodbye. And then the dwarves come around the corner and be like, run after them. And then this becomes well defended.
Okay. All right.
So if this is a place that used to be Elven and now it's Dwarven, that can give us a little bit of like a theme here. So maybe it's less of a mine and it's more like they're ransacking some old Elven
fortress.
Yeah, like an underground fortress.
Okay, I like
think
that.
We want it to be, so we're probably not going to do something at that scale because we want this to be probably about 20 minutes or half an hour of game time.
Okay.
So just a couple rooms out here somehow.
Okay. So maybe there's yeah, I like the sconces on the wall with the fire though. Those are very nice.
So I'm going to bring in one of my resources, which is, it's from a game called Maze Rats, but it has a ton of very, very good random tables in it. So we can look at this spread called the Maze and pick something like a dungeon ruination or a dungeon room or detail, a hazard or entrance. Maybe not an entrance, but how about a ruination? Because if it used to be an Elven thing, this will tell us why it isn't anymore.
Okay.
So can you roll 2 6-sided dice for us?
2 6-sided.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten
a 3 and a 4. 7.
Okay. So look at the third group.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one is flooding.
Ooh.
So this whole place is flooded somehow.
Starting to flood. That's kind of cool.
I'll check. The next room is potentially a chasm. Okay. So that's maybe where the flooding came up from.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got like a chasm going on and flooding.
Flooding. And a chasm.
Another room could be, well, we've already got a prison, so that was accurate. I like a museum.
A museum. It's an Elven museum?
Yeah, some kind of weird underground Elven museum. What if it's an Elven museum about dwarves? And it's an Elven museum, and it just, like, makes fun of dwarves, and, like, this is the room about, like, dwarven education, or, like, something like that.
That would certainly be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are the dwarves there? They've come in to take over because the elves are making fun of them?
And they're like recovering stolen dwarven artifacts.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So this can be like a caricatured dwarvish prison. So it's like 4 feet tall and the cells and all the players are like cramped down in there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So then we've got maybe kind of low cramped tunnels over there. And this is an exhibit, I guess. Yeah. So then the Elven secret tunnel.
It's
it was
probably like just the backdrop of it, right?
Yeah.
Where they would bring things in or whatever.
It's like part of a tour. It's like, oh, escape from a dwarven prison at the museum. Okay. So it sort of ends there, and then maybe over here is like some kind of like mining diorama. And they like actually filled it with gold that like little elven kids could mine out of it. Okay, so we got like a little mining area here. And we'll probably put a couple of dwarves there, right? Like a few of them hanging out who are people that we can talk to. How many dwarves do you think there should be in the mine?
7.
I agree. I think there should be 7 dwarves. If anyone is in the chat can give us names for dwarves, I am prepared to commit to using any non-obscene of the first 7 dwarven names. So we probably got 2 of them there. I want to make these dwarves very easy to run. And I just remembered, like, you know the classic dwarves with the adjectives like dopey, sleepy, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
That would be very easy to run a dwarf like that. What is this dwarf like? They're sleepy.
Uh-huh.
So let's do that, except with 7 different adjectives for these dwarves.
So we're coming up with random adjectives. Okay, so give us random adjectives.
Yeah. So I'll start us off with, or do you want to write down some dwarves for us?
Okay.
So maybe hyper.
Hyper dwarf.
Yeah. And then we can keep filling that in as we go.
I want bored.
Okay, bored is great. Furious.
What about drunk?
Yes, I think that's great. Very, very sick. Sickly? Well, sickly sounds different. What about, like, nauseous? Nauseous is the one.
I don't know how to spell nauseous. Nauseous.
Nauseous? We Google?
S-E-O-U-S. Yeah, that makes sense.
Spell check us in the chat.
I like that. Nauseous. Okay.
Good enough. Okay. And so we got a little mining area over here. And if you were making a museum about dwarves, what else would there be? There'd be a little gift shop, right?
Yeah, so there would definitely be a gift shop. Because you can't have a museum without a gift shop.
You know the card that we have for monsters? Can you put dwarves on it? Can you make another card that says treasure?
Okay.
And then from here, how about then we just have the stairs going up. And then the dwarves came up from underground because they're dwarves.
Should we have, like, dwarven equipment? Maybe a place for, like, you know, pickaxes and various things? Because, like, being able to grab a weapon might be nice.
I was thinking that might be in the gift shop.
Okay.
That there'd be, like, weird magical kids pickaxes or something like that that can't kill anyone.
Okay. Cool.
And then for simplicity, that can be like where the dwarves' tunnel busted in.
Okay.
And then up here is like a door that the dwarves opened for some reason. Well, because the place was flooded, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be flooded. We're supposed to have a chasm.
Yeah.
Maybe a chasm has opened up in the mining area and started to flood.
Right. And maybe that chasm is where the dwarves came up from, rather than here. That they, like, came up through the water. So they have, like, a submarine that's, like, sitting in there or something.
Okay. And then they're coming up, and they need to get back out because this is now flooding more and more and more, so they'd have to go out the front door.
Yeah, that there was, like, a cap collapse behind them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So then put in a little body of water over here. Okay. And then up here, let's put dwarven explosives at the door. They have to bust it open with explosives, and they haven't pressed the button yet, so the players can have a big explosion.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Okay.
And then, are the kids still getting out of that secret tunnel, the Elven secret tunnel?
I think so, but I think the Elven secret tunnel just goes over to the gift shop.
Oh, okay.
So maybe there's like they come out in a little, like, kids play place here. So then once you escape, you can see the kids over there, and they're like, psst, psst. Oh no, wait, but they have to get all the way out.
Do we? Yeah, didn't we? Or we could help them out. I mean, we were thinking that we were chasing them through the woods in the other place, but maybe we are working together. I mean, the original thing was we were to all work together with the kids.
I think chasing them is a really good motivation. Like, kids being in danger is like, everyone agrees on that one. Like, in my experience, players might not want to, like, save the town or whatever, but they'll always save the kid.
Yeah. Okay.
So what if that can just be, like, strictly, like, a way to the surface.
Yeah. Like a fire escape.
Yeah, exactly.
An elven fire escape.
Yeah. And then this will just go up to the surface. Okay. So we've got kind of a little area here. We've got our curious pair, our 7 dwarves, our Oakham adversary. All right. Can you take a picture of
Yes.
for me. So if you're tuning along in the chat, we're going to be collecting all of these maps. I'm going to clean up some of them and write up stats for our whole adventure and share that on our social media later today, so you can run this yourself. So I think we can sort of leave the dwarven stuff here as it is and come back to it at a little bit later time and think about the next place that we have, which we were thinking about that the kids trail off through the forest and encounter some kind of old knight temple, some place where they swore themselves in. There are ghosts, and we might have a griffin or a big wolf. So,
Like a haunted night, like for night castle.
yeah, exactly. I was imagining like a small watch post in the woods or something like that.
Okay.
That like this was like the, normally they're big city civilization knights, but this was their kind of ranger outpost or something.
Okay.
So I'm looking at like our wilderness landmarks here in getting potentially a marsh, or maybe it's in an open field, or by a creek, or by a ravine. I kind of like it being near a creek somehow.
I like the creek idea.
Yeah, because
The
that
creek
feels
is good.
especially if there's like an animal around there too.
Yeah, and the wolf could maybe come. Yeah, and if we follow the creek, we might get to the magical mystic area.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this should be a very small little location, I think. So
Okay.
probably just like an entrance room, like a tower up above where the griffin is, and then like a back room which is protected by this magic.
Okay.
As like a side thing.
All right, I like that.
So let me map that out a little bit. So we've got
Yeah.
imagining this is like where we've got spiral, or well, like a circular turret.
Right.
Though not a spiral staircase, probably just a ladder. And then kind of a sanctuary off to the side.
Okay.
With our magical trap. Okay. And the creek is kind of running by it. Imagining that it's sort of overlooking the creek.
Okay.
Raised up a little bit. And then... So do we think that the wolf is using like the inside of this place almost like a cave?
Oh, maybe.
Is kind of an idea?
Yeah, I like that. Maybe it's old and kind of broken down, and the wolf has made his den inside of the thing, and we need to get up the stairs somehow to talk to the griffin.
Yeah. So we've got our knight as well. We've got kind of like a ghost here who's probably angry at this wolf for like desecrating.
Oh yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, the knight probably does not want the wolf in his house. And he's a ghost wolf. I mean, he's a ghost knight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't want... He'll probably be angry at anyone who enters, and you have to convince him.
Right.
So like if you just burst in the front door without talking to that ghost, can you add the ghost?
Yeah, let me have
wolf?
another. We're doing ghost and wolf as monsters.
Yep. I will add gift shop to our treasures.
Ghost, knight, and fierce witch stalker wolf.
Yeah.
He's a really nasty wolf.
He's probably very good at fighting people who cast spells.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I already have an idea.
Hello, Legends DM. You even have DM in your name, so you probably know lots of stuff. We need 2 more adjectives for our dwarf names. So if you can come up, we have hyper, bored, furious, drunk, nauseous. We are building this after Snow White and the Seven Dwarves a little bit, and we decided to go with other adjectives. So if you've got any adjectives, give them to us. We need 2 more. So basically the story so far is we've been captured by evil dwarves who have broken into an elven museum that makes fun of dwarves, and we're gonna get free with some kids who have also been caught by the dwarves, and we have just escaped, and we've come to an old falling down knight's outpost that's next to a creek where there's a ghost who is pretty angry, and there might be a very scary wolf and a prized griffin who we need to meet, who's going to tell us about this mystic area with the super great prize.
What if the griffin is the knight's ghost?
Oh.
Like one of these knights was like so dedicated to this place that when they died, they came back as as like a griffin.
Okay.
Or
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it's and like maybe he
Dwarf named Gruff.
Gruff.
We
Great.
could have a Gruff. I like a Gruff. Okay. I like that one. Gruff. We need one more dwarf.
One more dwarf name. Okay, so I am looking back at our 30-minute structure. So we've got kind of some combats going on, and we need some. We've got kind of a trap here. So we definitely want a weird thing or weird magic somewhere. And I'm trying to think about where we want to put that. It could be involving the water and the merfolk at the end. There could be like some strange effect as you like enter down there. Or it could be at this place. I'm not sure.
I mean, a knight coming back as a griffin is a little bit weird.
A knight coming back as a griffin, but that's not something that the players can play with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have an idea. What if, for no reason at all, if you go up this staircase, you come out an animal, and if you go down the staircase, you come out a person. And the knight is trapped in this griffin body because now the wolf lives here and can't get out.
So if you go up, you
Yeah.
become an animal, and if you go down, you become a person?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the griffin is stuck up there?
Yeah.
But can the griffin still speak English? And like he's yelling out the window like, hey, help me, help me. No,
they can
he's
only
just up there quacking.
Yeah,
like
and
I don't know what this griffin. What
and we'll like come down to the party and like try to talk to them. But if you're going through the forest and suddenly this like frantic knight who has been trapped as a griffin for decades maybe just swoops down and is like screaming and clawing at you, trying for help, like that'll be such a misunderstanding. That could be very interesting.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's fun.
Hangry.
Magic.
We also had a hangry. I like that. Okay,
perfect.
hangry is good. I like that. Okay, so we've got our dwarves.
Gruff and hangry.
I like that. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of our dwarf names and our dwarf personalities.
Perfect. And then we'll need some kind of treasure to put here and there. So I think I have an idea for the gift shop. But just without getting into the details, what kind of thematically, maybe some kind of relic? Like a minor relic? A collection of minor relics?
I don't know, because this is the knight's place, right?
Yeah. Let's look at our picture overnight. Maybe they have some cool stuff on them. Maybe this night lady in particular, what if like she came from this forest? So this is like, you know how they have a presidential library in their hometown or whatever?
Uh-huh.
This is like that. So all of her old knight stuff is back in this room, still protected in magic.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We had the stepping through the flame. Is there going to be fire?
Well, my idea is that that's over here.
Okay.
And their honor determines whether they burn or shine. So that's an pretty interesting challenge. So like, how are we going to have a trap that relates to their honor?
I don't know. You're the one that knows how this works.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have a habit of asking questions out loud a lot. So if we can,
Maybe they have to answer 3 questions like in Monty Python.
Yeah. Or so we've got maybe we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Don't kill the griffin.
Don't kill the griffin. It'll probably take at least a few. We wrote down griffin on our monsters. Can you write down griffin on our monsters?
Yeah.
So we're going to have some kind of mosaic or legend built into the walls here, right?
Okay.
Maybe that shows like one of the values of like honor as according to these knights in a way that you can like swear to do or something like that. Like swear this oath, and then you enter there.
Okay.
But then if you break the oath, then like the magic items like will become cursed or something like that.
Or burst into flame.
Yeah, or actually that'd be great if they burst into flame and they go back here if you don't follow the oath.
Yeah, I like that.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
All right. So oath.
Yeah.
We've got an oath down here.
For treasure, can you put oath weapons or like oath gear?
And then this is our forest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our old knight's outpost. And there's going to be a stairwell.
Yeah. So we can just, because this tile can move around.
Yep.
Just pick that one up.
Okay. And then we're going to have the oath. Oops. Oath. And bursting into flame.
Mm-hmm. If anyone in the chat wants to request any specific type of a gear, such as if you want to make sure that you see her shield or cloak or boots or anything like that, we can make magic items to suit for it. Okay, so I think we have a good idea.
I think we need a sword.
I think we need a sword, for sure.
For sure, a sword.
So I'm wondering if this place is cool, but if this is the place where we tell the party that the Mystic Sanctuary is even cooler.
Maybe.
I have an idea. What if what you take out of here are like ghostly weapons? Like here is like, it's like a ghostly armory, so you get temporary ones. And like everybody can try out like a demo version of like the sword. Well, maybe not exactly that. Maybe there's still only one of each. But then the real versions are like over here. So like these ones
or
are
maybe
just like,
they have to take them over there and they become real.
Oh.
And if they follow the oath. But if they don't follow the oath and take them there, then they burst into flames and come back.
Right. Okay. That like maybe each person who's like swears the oath can enter and take one thing, and then if they bring that one and like swear that oath, yeah. And there could be a few different oaths. So like maybe there's 3 different oaths, so only 3 chances. And somebody's like, well, I can swear to this oath and I'll take this gear. That sounds like a really fun. Okay, I think that's a cool mechanic.
Boots and belt are so passé. How about some magical socks?
Yes, magical socks.
Magical socks. Okay. There is someone who is 100% in favor of magical socks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like magical socks too.
Great. So under oath gear, I put sword and socks. Okay, so I think we can put our temple to. Do we have a name for this lady?
Arvindale.
Arvindale.
Every Arvindale aspirant.
Ardenvale. So I guess Ardenvale is the order. But...
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Aspirant must step through.
But it's her, like, her something or other. Okay. So then.
Okay, so if y'all can come up with a name for the knight, it is an Arvindale aspirant and some kind of honor, where she's all about honor.
Yeah, a very honorable knight. Okay, so we've got our Mystic Sanctuary.
Okay, do we want to take a picture of our nightly thing? Do you want to move that so I can?
I think
we not
I
need
think
to?
we don't need
Okay.
to. Yeah.
All right.
It's just because I was at first considering erasing this lower one.
I got it.
Okay. So we got our Mystic Sanctuary here.
Yeah. And they
And
follow the creek to the Mystic Sanctuary and come upon this like island
yeah.
with a little skiff.
Yeah. So I'm just still trying to think about what the nature of that Mystic Sanctuary is, so that I can be inspired by that for the details.
Okay.
I want it to be a little bit different, I think, than just that thing number 2. So maybe we learn a little bit about that night based on like something here. Like maybe over here is like another elven thing. Some kind of callback, an elven sanctuary. Are you noticing any details in the art?
I was thinking maybe this was the place where the knights had to like perform some kind of thing to become a knight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the classic Excalibur comes from like a Lady in the Lake,
That's right? Lady in the
It
Lake.
was maybe a merfolk thing.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like it's like a test. Like you go here, like you were saying, where you like swear these oaths, and like the merfolk are the ones who choose to like give you stuff or let you through or let you onto the island or something like that.
Yeah, I like the idea though of like having to try and take the skiff over there and then the merfolk coming and like trying to pull us under. Or it could be, yeah, I don't know.
So the merfolk are a surprise, right?
Yeah.
So if the legend over there tells them, maybe it just says, like cross the lake and you will find your challenge, and they're like, oh, the challenge is on the other side of the lake, but it's the crossing that is the challenge, because then the merfolk get you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Magical socks.
yeah. I think I'm a little stumped here, so I'm gonna go back to my rule of thumb and put it aside and come back to it later.
Okay.
So now we kind of can have 2 directions that we can go based on whatever we're in the mood for. We can start.
Remember, we still have the kids.
We do still have the kids. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Do you think that the kids? Do you think that the kids crossed okay because they're kids and the merfolk are like kind to them or whatever? So maybe the boat is on the far side of the lake as a clue that the kids are over there. There's like muddy footprints on the dock and then a missing boat. You can see the boat like 80 feet over there.
Maybe.
Because then the challenge of also like, how do you cross this lake becomes an interesting puzzle for the party, and they have to think about that.
Okay, maybe.
So I think now we could either go back through and do some. So like after we get kind of all these details, or kind of this skeleton of things, something that I like to do is go back and just like keep doing layers on top of something, and adding more and more interesting details and connecting things. Or we can get into some of the nitty-gritty about the mechanics and stat blocks for some of these monsters that we have. Oh, and we should write down our merfolk and our merfolk wizard for here. Merfolk and merwiz. Great. Okay, so we have 3 combat encounters, so 3 empty rooms. So let me talk a little bit about what empty rooms are. And I'll get into my thoughts about combat encounters once we do the details of those. So empty rooms are like an older D&D, which was more strictly dungeon crawls. There'd be a lot of rooms with monsters in them, and then also rooms which are nominally empty, that don't have like huge treasure or don't have monsters in them, but they're still really important. For at least 2 different reasons. One are that when you have kind of like quieter, just detailed places, it's like a tonal juxtaposition rather than just boom, boom, boom intensity. And players will use the weird details of those spaces in strange combining ways.
Okay.
So, like, if you have a weird fight in one room, you can just be like, I'll just put a kitchen in front of it. I have no idea what the players will do with a kitchen, but I'm sure they can come up with something ridiculous that will absolutely upset the next part of things that are happening.
Okay.
So I imagine kind of this gift shop and potentially sort of that mining area as one of those empty rooms.
Okay. There could also be a bathroom.
There could also be a bathroom.
Although, I mean, how many elven bathrooms are there?
Well, elves don't poop.
Oh, really?
I don't know. In my world, I mean, I just made it up, but yes.
The knight's name is Shah Malone.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay,
Great.
I like it.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Can you
write it on our forest?
Exactly. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, I like that name.
Me too. What if, let me add, there'll be a little old sparring ground over here, or like a little grave area or something.
Ooh, a graveyard.
Yeah, like a little graveyard.
I like a little graveyard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if he's a ghost.
Yeah. So we've gone a few directions. Is he a ghost? Is he an old transformed knight?
Oh yeah, that's right. He might not be a ghost anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, he can be a transformed knight. I'm fine.
The ghost. There could also be a ghost though.
It could be.
Yeah.
I just really liked the idea of a ghost for a while, but I think that you're right. I think maybe it's adding too many things into it.
I think actually, just as like a small detail, there should just be a ghost in here who stays underground and just wants to go back to sleep. But if you absolutely were like, what do you want to know? Yes, there's a mystic sanctuary. It's down the creek. Just please leave me be. It's like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So grave, sleepy ghost. Who is also an NPC. So Shah Malone is the legendary figure. So this is the.
And he's the one who's been turned into a griffin.
So I think she is like an old legendary figure. And what if one of the kids has been turned into a griffin?
How did it get turned into a griffin?
Because it went up the stairs.
Ah.
So like they came over here, and the two kids came inside, and the wolf chased them. One person escaped. One person ran up the stairs, and they can't get back down because when they go down the stairs, they're a child, and the wolf will attack them. And they're scared of the wolf.
Okay, but they really want to be a child again. They don't want to stay a griffin.
They don't want to be a giant 40-foot tall griffin.
No.
Who behaves like a child.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm good with that.
All right. And so we're doing our detail pass. Okay. So this wolf den. What makes the wolf den an interesting place in here? So it used to be a small little forest outpost where like knights could stop on their way, and like rangers could get supplies for keeping evil at bay or something.
Yeah, so maybe there's some supplies in there and stuff, food or water or something. So like there's the creek next door, but
right. So there's like a fireplace here. They could have a well, just a well right inside. Actually, and then that could be another. If we put like a well inside here, there can be like a secret entrance through a cave down by the creek side. So potentially you could creep up while the wolf is like sleeping right here.
Okay.
That's a wolf with it, like its tail coat and its legs, because I'm very good at drawing. I'm very good. It's got ears. Okay, we're done. We're done. We're not talking about the wolf.
It looks like a possum wolf.
It looks like a fierce witch stalker, Kathleen. So I think so I'm eager to get into the details of this witch stalker wolf because I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
So if we're getting into combat, I'm going to bring up kind of a couple of the ways that I design combat kind of encounters. One is I want to make sure that they're memorable. They want them to make kind of weird and interesting choices. They should always deeply involve kind of the geometry and your environment going on. And one of my inspirations is from the description of a game called Electric Bastionland, and it's tips about decisive combat. So I'm going to highlight a couple of these really quick, because I think this can give us some guidance for designing our enemy. They suggest, with instigation, strategic choice. Should we fight this thing? Deciding to fight is a real choice you make, not an assumption of the game. No monster exists purely to fight you, so if things have come to blows, let it be on your head. So this is like when you're first kind of engaging with it and seeing what it can do. In the second stage of execution, you've come up with some ideas based on the way it's behaving and try to carry them out. And then hopefully by the end of the third round, either you've accomplished your objective, it's accomplished objective or come close, or someone is about to be in that place. An important part of that is giving this combat kind of stakes other than
just fighting.
Okay. So we have to give the players something that they want kind of inside where they can just like get by the witch stalking wolf, or something that like the wolf wants from them that they don't want to give up other than just eating them.
Well, we definitely want the kid who's turned into a griffin, right?
Yeah.
And then we want those magical items.
Yeah. So, but the players won't know that there's like magic items in there yet. And they might not know that the griffin has become
that the kid has become a griffin.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if one of the kids got away, we know that the other kid is in there because the other kid would be outside, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, my brother got stuck in there with the wolf."
Oh, like my brother's a griffin. Can you please help them? Yeah. Exactly. Rather than being like, "Screw you, I'm gonna go and get the treasure." That's a good point. So maybe there's just one kid, and maybe they are turned into the griffin, and after this, they hang out with you kind of for the end part of the adventure.
But the kids were in the jail with us. No?
Well, no, but they escaped before us, and then we're following them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that you said that they were going to go to the room or the gift shop, and we were all going to be together escaping.
Oh, I mean, that was an idea I was thinking of for a second. I think.
But you want them to escape first, and us be following them?
Just like escape straight to the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to follow them.
Yeah.
And we get here, and the kid's gone.
Yeah.
But there's this weird griffin.
Yeah.
Because the griffin's flown. The griffin flies. The griffin flown out of the tower.
What if the kids aren't friends?
The kids aren't friends?
Yeah,
they're like
they were just both captured by dwarves.
You're
like, like that jerk Jared left me here as a stupid griffin. I'm going to go kick his butt. Or whatever.
Okay.
Which, I mean, like, I would be even more upset if my friend abandoned me to go find a magic sword and left me trapped as a griffin.
That's true. I would be very, very upset.
Yeah. Okay. So
did the griffin, like, fly out of the, like, the tower because it can fly? So he flew out, he sees us, and he's like, "Hey, help! I've turned into a griffin?"
Yeah, it's like...
And then we have to figure out that he needs to go back down the stairs?
Well, so the griffin will, like, maybe, send you back to the tower and then, like, fly into the turret, and then you hear a voice that's like, "Help! Help! it's me! And then the wolf wakes up and, like, chases after, and, like, the griffin bursts out of the top of the tower, and the wolf jumps after it. Something like that is your setup.
Okay. All right. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So then let's come up with our details for this wolf and for this griffin. So we want this wolf to be a big, intimidating threat for our party. And we need to make sure that it has kind of the right numbers to be a balanced encounter for that. So I'm going to use a handy online tool, or you can do it out by hand using tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide. But I will be using the encounter size calculator from donjon.bin.sh, a website full of many great tools. So let's assume a party of 5 characters, and I'm imagining this is like a first or a second level adventure.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like a
I think
starter.
there should be 4 characters.
4
though.
characters?
Yeah, because I don't know how many people we're going to be able to get to play it, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
My favorite party size is 4. I like 3 and 4.
I think 4 is fine.
So we want this to be a hard, potentially even a deadly encounter for 4 characters of first level.
Okay.
So it says that should be a second level, or a monster with challenge rating of 2.
Okay.
So what we can do is find a monster with a challenge rating of 2, and then commit mechanical surgery on it and change it into a Witch Darker Wolf and tweak it there. So I think, is it the back of the monster manual or the Dungeon Master's Guide, which has monsters by challenge rating? Must be the Dungeon Master's Guide. So can you think, so I'm trying to think of just descriptively, if you were hearing a legend about a giant wolf that hunts like witches, it says specifically, and like things like that, what kind of special things might it do? I was thinking if somebody casts a spell, it can either teleport to them, or like make a free attack against them if it's already next to them. It's like you don't want to be next to this wolf. 3 of 2, not by environment, but by challenge rating. Challenge rating 2. Okay. So what do we have here? So let's look at these list of these, and is anything of these kind of like a wolf already?
Berserker.
Berserker could be a pretty good place to start. Maybe rhinoceros could be good too, like a big thing. Saber-toothed tiger. Saber-toothed tiger. That looks like where we should start. Okay. So I'm gonna.
It's gonna be a saber-toothed tiger wolf.
Saber-toothed tiger wolf. Can you check the index for saber-toothed tiger and jump to that page? So for our witch wolf, I usually just write down in my mind the most important qualities about it. So I need to know its armor class. And we can probably copy that straight off of our saber-toothed tiger.
The saber-toothed tiger is in the very back of the book.
Because there's a section on like animals and things. So.
Okay, so there it is. Armor class 12.
12. And how many hit points does it have?
52.
Okay. My rule of thumb for 5e combats is I want things to be faster and deadlier. Kind of in line with that. So I usually turn the health down and the damage up. So every round is more impactful. So I'll probably put that at about 40 health. I usually do it by 5s. The ability scores, we're not even going to bother by it. It's either going to roll flat or at advantage or disadvantage based on what it's trying to do. If it's tearing somebody off their feet, that's a totally wolf thing. It'll get advantage on that. So things like the perception and stealth, we can just know that it's a wolf. The keen smell might be worth writing down, which is again just advantage on like trying to smell for things. But still,
and he should definitely have pounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me read that description. If a tiger moves at least 20 feet straight towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, that target must succeed on a strength save or be knocked prone, and then it can, if it is, it gets to bite it for free. So that's pretty cool.
That sounds like a wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Its attacks. It looks like it has 1 for each round. And that's bite or claw. Okay. So another thing that I do when I'm designing my monsters is to reduce the amount of like table time math that I need to have. I'll just do everything as flat d6s for my damage pool. So I just add those up, and I don't have to kind of be cross-referencing things as much once I roll the dice. So I see that the bite is 10, and knowing that a d6 is about 3.5 for expected value, its bite is going to be +6 for 3d6 damage, and its claw is +6 for, I'm going to call that 4d6, because that looks like the more damaging one of those. It makes things a little bit swingier, but I think that's also more exciting when sometimes there's these big and these small hits. We're not creating like casino dice that are being rolled thousands of times. We're designing a monster that'll attack 3 times. So the swing of the d20 is going to crush the difference between a +4 and a +2. And then it also has that pounce. So I think something that has this kind of ability to do things in reaction to any spells going. If the party just starts to fight it, they might not realize that it's getting all these free actions and responses and acting so many times. So I think that'll be a good fight that seems scary, but once they figure it out, dials itself back.
Okay.
So I think that's good for our witch wolf.
Okay.
For the griffin, let's see if there's just stats for a griffin already, because maybe that'll just be good and we can use that out of the book. Griffin.
There's a griffon.
Yeah,
which
let's
is
check that.
different than a griffin.
It's spelled differently. Let's see if it's
well,
numbers.
A griffon would probably be like this, which is like a eagle-y, wolfy thing.
I think
that's pretty much, yeah. Okay, so let's see. 174.
174.
174.
Challenge rating 2. Okay, that's good. So I think that is about competitive with the wolf if it was brave enough to fight it, but it isn't. And it means that if it does come to bear, it would be a really dramatic asset in that fight, which I think is good. So for our griffin...
And he also has keen sight.
Okay. So I'm going to write down our armor class of 12, our hit points of about, again, down and up of about 50. I want to make sure that I note it has a fly speed. Let's do like a little bird for my wings. I like icons. Of 80 feet. Gets 2 attacks. So it does beak and claw. And both of them are for, what's that? +6, 2d6. And +6, 3d6. Cool. Okay, so then I've got stats for those 2 things. We've got an NPC over here, our ghost, who's underneath the ground. So for an NPC, if you're designing an involved NPC, one of my favorite methods is a technique that I've seen online that I saw someone use called the Mashup Method, where they basically take a number of kind of proper nouns and mix them together. But today we're going to do something a little bit simpler than that, where for our ghost, we're just going to get like their name, their basic motivation, and a proper noun that we inspire them by. So, for example, I was running an adventure I said, where this NPC is basically a washing machine. What that means is whenever I think about their attitude or their voice or how they would respond to something, I just like do kind of what a washing machine would do. So like, yeah, I think that I could do that. Or like something with some rhythm, or this big clunky machine that's just trying to get a job done, and let that inspire you and just ad-lib it at the table. So, what is our sleepy ghost like, and what is his name?
That's tough. If anybody out there has an idea for what our sleepy ghost is like in a name, that would be great. What's our sleepy ghost like? What's our sleepy ghost like? I mean, you said that he just wanted to be left alone.
Mm-hmm. So is he like a banana peel on the ground? Like, what's the inspiration? Or like a piece of gum stuck to the sidewalk?
Maybe.
An old newspaper?
What about a angsty teenager?
Well, I'm trying to do something that's not a person already.
Not a person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like gum on a sidewalk.
Okay, great.
Okay, gum on a sidewalk I like.
So our NPC has kind of the attitude of gum on a sidewalk. And I think we should have some kind of old, fancy, stodgy sounding name. My book here has some. Can you roll 2d6 for us?
6 and a 3.
That suggests Stratford.
Oh, I like Stratford. Yeah,
yes.
That's good.
Sir Stratford. The players will try to read the gravestone. It should say something kind of funny on it. Sir Stratford. May he get the rest he always wanted.
I like that.
Okay. And what can he tell you? He can tell you
about the stairs.
Yeah, about the stairs.
About the magical equipment in the back.
He can tell you about so he knows about the magical equipment. So I think this is maybe like a pilgrimage site. I think that's what this is. Okay. So like this is the start of a pilgrimage over to the Mystic Sanctuary.
Okay.
And by doing the pilgrimage, then you can get entry into it or whatever. So knows magic items inside. Loud kids recently. I think doesn't know about the stairs, and the griffin is new. The griffin is new. We need a short list of animals that players can entertainingly transform into when they run up the stairs. So some like random foresty animals.
Squirrel.
Okay. Can you do our list of animals?
Squirrel. Every game needs a squirrel or a camel.
Why not both?
A forest camel?
No, a desert camel.
Okay. Then all of a sudden they're just a camel in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all games are better with camels.
I think so.
Okay.
In the chat, please tell us other random animals that you should be able to transform into when you go up this staircase.
Obviously griffin.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they should be like animals from heraldry, like all knights and stuff. So like on a shield they'll have like a lion. What else is there? Eagle. Right. Probably not another griffin, because that would be very powerful if a player could be a griffin. So I think mostly like normalish animals. What else is going to be on? Maybe a swan. I feel like that'll be like an animal of heraldry. let's learn a little bit about heraldry animals. List of
Cats.
heraldic charges. I think that's what we're talking about. Beasts.
Lion, leopard, panther.
Oh, we got a
Ooh,
lot
a
of.
fox is good.
Fox is good.
I like a fox.
Yeah. Let's do a bear.
Bear.
Mm-hmm. Pig. Pig. Definitely pig.
Kangaroo.
I think these are starting to get into less common ones.
A lizard, a dragon, a turtle.
Yeah, I like a turtle.
Turtles are good.
Yeah. Bees.
Bees.
No, a single bee. Just a single bee. Okay, I think that's a good.
Okay.
And then let's also do fish.
That would be sad. They're gonna be a fish out of water.
Yeah. Okay.
Get them to the creek.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta flop down to the creek. Okay, so we've got a magic staircase. Let's figure out our loot that we have back there.
Okay, you have the treasure thing over there.
Yeah. So we've gone kind of like a couple different directions, and we have like I think a few options here. Are we giving them like temporary items right now? I had an idea in the back of my head that maybe they just enter there and pick up like a magical like burden that they have to physically carry, something like that. I don't know.
And they have to get that burden to the mystical place.
Yeah.
To have it do anything.
Yeah. What if?
I mean, we have the magical socks.
We do have the magical socks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what if it is? It's like I know that you're gonna come here on this pilgrimage, so it'll be like you can get magical socks and like a canteen and like hiking like pilgrimage supplies.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
maybe a walking stick.
Exactly. Yeah. That kind of thing. And so I don't want it exactly to be just like a shopping mall or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe in there's like a model, like a statue of like someone doing a pilgrimage, and they're holding a set of things, and like you may borrow any of these items for your pilgrimage. Simply leave them out before the full moon, and they will return here, something like that.
Okay.
So then there's like one of each item that can help you along the way.
So a canteen. I like the canteen idea.
Yeah.
I think I like the walking stick idea.
Mm-hmm.
Socks would be good. The magical socks.
Mm-hmm. So I think the like stuff like swords and armor
that
is
would be more
the
in
treasure
the
at the
place.
end.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So socks, canteen, hiking stick, and it's like if you want, you can borrow this stuff indefinitely. But I guess the kind thing is to turn it back. That's a total choice to the players. Okay. So if we have a party of probably 4, we should probably have 4 items.
4 items?
Yeah.
What else do you need when you're going hiking?
Sunscreen, bug spray, a hat.
I like bug spray.
I like bug spray. You could, it could
be a magical, like, ointment that you could use on something.
Can I tell you the worst idea?
Oh, God.
It could be bug spray. Like it could spray bugs.
Oh, God.
Yep.
That doesn't help you on a hike at all.
No, but it would make the party laugh.
It's true.
So bug spray, and then it'll be a random bug each time. It could be ladybugs, could be ants,
beetles.
It could be like flesh-eating beetles,
or scarab beetles or something like that.
I'm gonna say like mummy scarab beetles, so it's like the ones that eat you. Mummy scarabs, and then just bees.
Don't we have bees coming that we could turn into a bee?
But then, if you get the bug spray and you're a bee, synergy. That's synergy. That's what we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we still have 6 viewers. There we go. So bees. Okay. What does our hiking stick do? So hiking is not normally a challenge in D&D, so it's probably useful in some other way. So, just to share some thoughts about designing magic items. I think a good magic item is always the same, so it doesn't like run out of charges, or it's not like a video game thing that has something like that. I think good magic items are something kind of like eternal and permanent, and that has
what
like a
if the
strangely
hiking
shaped
stick
effect.
can become a rope? Like you're using it to walk, and then you can do something, and it becomes a rope if you need a rope.
I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like maybe it like can like sprout into like a vine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like a sapling. Maybe it has like a few forms.
Okay.
Like it can grow into a rope, or you can make a tree with it to sleep under and like get covered.
Okay.
But the rope idea is really cool. I want something a little bit more than it just being a rope.
A magical rope.
And it can like retract on command as well.
Yeah, or it can like tie itself to something.
Yeah. What if it has roots on either end, and if you put something in those roots, it'll grab onto it, so it can be like a
so like if I throw it up on a cliff, it could grab the cliff, and we could get up the cliff or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Hiking stick, rope, grapply roots, and also just like to have a stick that can just grab something on the end of it. You can put a sword on the end, a lantern. You can put someone's hand in it and keep them at distance. Things like that are all be pretty cool. Okay. The canteen. What is special about it? Just holds an incredible amount, just like a canteen.
Yeah, maybe a
never
ending canteen, like a.
Never ending can be dangerous.
Okay.
I think one that can just hold an incredible quantity of liquid, like whatever you manage to get that amount of, is fine. Like, you know, if you fill it with 30 gallons of oil, then great. So it's just a 30-gallon canteen.
Okay.
And then what did the socks do?
I don't know. Is the person who recommended the socks still there? Come on. What do your magical socks do?
What if they're silence socks?
Silent socks. Or maybe they make you invisible.
Oh, that's pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they make your
footsteps not heard.
Yeah. That's the thing about like your footsteps are like utterly silent. Like the rest of you might still make noise, but your feet.
Right. So like walking on the forest, nobody can hear you coming.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
If you're quiet.
Yeah.
But if you hit a tree, then you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
Silence works. They like silence.
Socks of silence.
Socks of silence.
Great. Okay. So we've got some treasure in the gift shop, and we've got some oaths for this night. Another great tip: good GMs steal, which is to say, are inspired by a diversity of wonderful sources. We've got some oaths for the Guild of Heroes. Should we just take some of those?
We should.
We should just do that. Great.
Yes.
So,
if you don't know, Guild of Heroes is our kids' D&D program, which Camilla pretty much made. Or they can build up static electricity for shock attack.
Whoa.
But you have to shuffle your feet. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say actually, whenever you and I'll just cram it all in, I'll make it better later. Whenever you move your full speed, you just emit a static shock for 1 electricity damage to everyone nearby you.
Or when you touch somebody.
Yeah. Whenever you move 30 feet. Something like that. Okay.
If you run.
We'll come back to that detail as we spread it out. Okay.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's super fun. Our oaths. So you should. Where can I find that? GM document? So they'll have to kind of swear different elements of this oath. Here we no, those are our goals. Oh, it's in one of the emails. So what do you want to think about next? Do you want to go back to the Dwarven Mines and some details there? Or should we do more about our Mystic Sanctuary?
I'm a little worried about the Mystic Sanctuary.
Me too. I think I've definitely been avoiding it.
Yeah.
So we could also be prepared to throw out parts of our Mystic Sanctuary idea. And we have goblins and clockwork servants and things like that.
I really like the Merfolk, though.
I do like the Merfolk.
Yeah.
So what if this famous figure actually got her magic items by stealing them from the Merfolk?
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's super bad.
Yeah.
And to put and to spit in their eye when she was like, I want my sanctuary, my mystic sanctuary, where my body should lay, to be put in the lake where I stole their stuff. And the mermaids are like, come on, right in our backyard. So she yearned to walk on dry land so she might take her vengeance there. The merfolk, they don't want to kill you. They just really want that stuff in there. So maybe what they want to do is bring someone down there and then grab someone and then mind control them to run up and steal the sword out of the coffin or something like that. But and so maybe right now the kids got grabbed and they're mind controlled and they're in there trying to push the lid off a coffin, but they're just kids and they're not strong enough to do it. And that's when you show up.
Okay.
Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so we need a sort of map for our lakety area. So I'm trying to think if I wanted to have an interesting geometry or a simple circle. I think a simple circle is fine. So there's just a
There could be a healing aspect of the sanctuary, maybe.
Yeah, once you actually get inside.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our little kind of sanctuary here on an island. And kind of docks over here. So when you approach...
And there's the creek coming in.
Yeah, there's a creek coming in, which you have followed all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then lakes usually will have another part where the water leaves, right?
Sometimes, yeah, usually.
Okay.
I mean, it could be underground, but yeah.
Yeah. It's probably more mystical if it just ends here. So here on the dock side, is there a little, some kind of structure or building that they encounter? Do they come just to an open plain? What would be set up at the end of this pilgrimage?
There's a
maybe
No, I think they only see this towery thing over there. They just come upon this marshy, lake-ish type thing,
yeah.
And then there's this old rickety dock there. But there's not a boat anymore, right?
Yeah, because
the kids took the boat, so the boat they can see the boat over on the island or whatever.
Though maybe the merfolk put the boat back.
So that they, yeah.
Yeah, so that you could tie it. So that the party would get in it and row it out into the water again.
Yeah.
Something
okay.
Like that. But there can still be like muddy footprints there.
Yes.
So then you're like, why are there footprints? But like the boat is still here.
Yeah.
And there can even be muddy footprints. Ooh, here's an idea. So there are muddy footprints that go onto the dock and then into the boat, and that's it. So then you're like, how is the boat here with the muddy footprints on it if the kids aren't here? So then that tells you that something's going on in the water if you're paying attention to the details.
Yep. Okay, I like that.
Okay. And then the boat also has muddy footprints in it. Okay, so this is a rickety dock. And then maybe there's like a little...
There's a little dock over there.
Yeah,
something.
like a little inlay.
Okay.
And then is there a graveyard for the even cooler people over here? Oh, what if the sleepy ghost says that like the forest is too loud for him, and what he really wants is to be buried somewhere peaceful and quiet. And I like the water. Peace. I should do it. We have a card for him, right? For our old ghost, Statford.
I thought you made a card.
I thought I did. I might have covered it with a book. It's somewhere.
Is it on the back of the
Oh,
one
I've got it right here.
Okay. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Once peace and quiet, forest too loud.
Well, especially with the wolf and the griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if wolf and griffin quiet is helpful, but then if you reburied over there, he'll give you some extra special reward. Maybe he just hangs out with the party. Like he's like, oh, that was my first night of good rest in 1,000 years. I can help you now. I'm a ghost. What do you want? So ghost hireling. If reburied, ghost hireling 1 month later. Okay. So the rowing across the marsh. So what is going to be interesting and what's going to be the structure for how this goes down? So they're going to be at the docks, and the question that I'm going to be asking is kind of like, what do they see and what do the mermaids do? So the water, they probably can't see down into it, right?
No, it's murky.
Okay, it's murky. What other qualities does it have? Does it smell good or does it smell bad? I feel like it should smell strange because it's magic. Like it's like, oh, it's fresh and bubbly, or it's like gross and evil.
Maybe it's murky and it smells like rosemary.
Okay, yeah.
Like it smells like herbs are cooking or something like that.
Yeah.
Like pizza.
Well, actually, I really like that detail. Maybe all of the plants in it, they're all edible water plants, and you're like, why are there all edible water plants here? These are traditional merfolk crops. So murky,
oregano and basil.
merfolk herbs and salad greens. Okay. So there are clues.
I could see merfolk eating just vegetarian, you know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then you're in the middle.
And it smells like a patch of basil or something.
Exactly. Yeah. All that stuff. So they're in the middle here. And then...
Are the merfolk gonna, like, attack when we're going out on the boat? Or are they just gonna come up and, like, talk to us?
I think they're gonna attack.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think what probably keeps happening is people come by and they come to this lake and they're like, oh, I'm supposed to defeat the challenge, which is the merfolk, and then kick some butt and then like storm off to the lake, and the merfolk are always like, oh, why do they keep hitting us?
Poor merfolk.
And they see you like carrying, so like probably like when you pass through here, as long as you like have these objects, you're like marked with some holy symbol of like the order, so then they see that on you, and maybe they'll attack anyone who has that symbol on them still.
Okay.
So their goal is to drag someone under the water and brainwash them So they go steal the artifacts, right? So, I'm trying to imagine zooming in on the details of that moment.
So is the knight is buried in the sanctuary?
I think so.
Okay.
That's
The
what I
other
imagine.
knight, not this knight. He wants to come and be buried over here because it's
Yeah,
quieter.
not Stafford, but the
No.
old Shaw Malone.
Shaw Malone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the saint. Saint Shaw Malone. Okay. So how many merfolk are in the water? We have some normal ones, and then there's one
That's the
wizard who can kind of control people. So the probably maybe there's 2 normal merfolk that are on the sides of the boat. Because then players can like one on either side of the boat.
And then they take them down, and they meet the wizard.
Exactly.
Who does some kind of brainwashing type thing.
Yeah. An important thing for combats is being able to chunk your areas into meaningful zones. So like here, there would be like probably, if I'm not using a strict battle mat, it'll be like this room, the staircase, outside, that are all about the distance between each other for like kind of one move in combat. So having a left side of the boat and a right side of the boat with one merfolk each would be pretty good, I think.
Okay.
So let's come up with some merfolk stats. Can you check the index for merfolk? So merfolk and merfolk
280.
wizard. I'm going to go back to our encounter calculator, and we want this to be probably again another deadly encounter. So it says 4 to 5 quarter CR creatures, 1 CR2 creature. Okay, this says CR8, so I think that works pretty well for us.
What's CR8?
1/8. So they're pretty
1/8.
easy. We'll probably
Okay.
make them a little bit stronger than that. Somewhere kind of in between these two or something.
Okay.
So their armor class, I'm going to bump it up from 11 to 12.
Okay.
For their hit points, 11 is not very much. That would probably go down in like a single combat round. So I think I want them to have like 20. You know, still going down quickly, but as long as they can get one person down there. And every, what is the thing that they do? They just, they will try to grab, which is going to be an opposed grapple. And I'm going to say do it at +6, because this is what they do all day. Just pull people off of boats into the water. Grab at +6, and then to make fights dynamic, I'm thinking about like what happens when enemies go down to half health, or things like that, to have them respond and change their strategy. So I think at half health, they go under and they start trying to break the boat instead.
Okay.
Break boat from under. Break boat. So I'll probably need a little stat block for our boat, which is just going to have, I don't know, 15 HP, and they break the boat at 2d6 per turn each. How quickly would that go down? If it had 15 and they were doing, yeah, I like that. Okay. So there's a chance that if they're both focusing on it, they could take out the boat in a single turn. All right. So we got our boat, we got our merfolk wizard, and I think I'm going to have it be, I'll just bump it up to, I'll leave it at 12, give it some more HP, and then, sorry, this is a little bit just kind of getting into the details of things. We're going to be using the spell, I don't actually have a player's handbook with me, but probably the spell Geas, or Command. Let me look at the list of spells.
Enchantment school. So when you were making their armor and health hit points or whatever, what are you thinking of as a DM to make those numbers? Like, what are you concerned about when you're building that?
So I'm concerned about how long do I want this fight to feel, and kind of like what do I want the pacing of it to be like.
Okay.
And in this one, I want the merfolk to be like relatively hardy, and be able to withstand the players kind of battering at them for a little bit. But I don't want them to be hard to hit because they're not like tough combatants. Yeah. Dominate person is also pretty good. I think yes is better though. Yeah, okay. And that's a wisdom saving throw. Okay, so the Merfolk Wizard, if it gets you down there, it will Geas at DC. I usually set a DC of 15 for things. It's just a good number. It's
What's
pretty.
DC?
So it'll cast a spell on them called Geas, which will force them to carry out some command that they have if they cannot resist the magic. They'll roll a d20, and 15 is the target they're trying to get, plus some bonus based on their character's wisdom. So at a DC of 15, and then its command is enter the sanctuary.
And give us back our stuff.
Yeah, open the coffin, take the sword, and then hurl it into the lake. And I left that one a little bit open-ended so that a very clever player can go, oh, I hurl it into the lake right in the mermaid's head.
Gosh.
But just kind of creative monkeys pawing on the Geas is kind of good there. So things that, like, if there's something that needs an exact phrasing or something like that, being able to figure that out ahead of time is usually where I'll end up stammering and I'll lose the tone of what I'm saying. Because, like, if I'm like, the Merfolk Wizard controls you and it tells you to, go into the sanctuary and get the treasure or whatever, that's not going to sound as cool as, and I command you to enter the sanctuary, open the coffin, take the sword, and hurl it into the lake. It's going to be more dramatic for us. Okay, so in our list of monsters, can you check off the ones that we've finished the stats for so far?
Yep,
Or,
we've
like,
done
cross
the
them out?
Mirror Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
We've done the Merfolk. We've done the Griffin. We did the Witch Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghost Knight is no longer a monster,
Yeah.
right? That's now kind of an NPC.
Yeah.
And then we haven't done the Dwarves.
Ah, dwarves. Yes.
We have 7 Dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
The hangry dwarf has to have harder stats because, I mean, who wants to fight a hangry dwarf?
That's a good point. I think
So I could give him a sandwich. Like, here, just take the sandwich and go away.
I think it'd be good to give them at least the same armor class generally, and then potentially one special thing about them. If there's a visual detail that your players can use during a fight to be like, oh, I attack the one with the giant hat, or the one with 2 axes, that's often a lot more fun than I attack the one on the left. Well, no, the one that was attacking Greg. I mean, having those descriptive terms to anchor on and stay in the fiction can be really powerful. So for the dwarves, I think they're all like heavily armored. They're not fighters, so I'm going to give them kind of 15, which is just kind of a middling number of hit points. Or maybe 10, actually. 7 is a lot of enemies to be fighting. And when you're balancing an encounter in 5th edition, even more than the damage or like the health, the amount of combatants and how many times they get to act in a round is one of the most important things to balance.
Well, maybe if they take 3 of them down, the rest of them run away.
Yeah,
like
I think that's a good idea.
And they're like, oh god, these people are too tough, and then they all run away. So they only really have to deal with 3 or 4 of them, maybe.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I like that the dwarves are cowardly. They're brave.
They're
At
kind of blustery.
at 5 or plus more, and cowardly at 4 or less. Okay. And I'll just give them, what are they? They all have pickaxes. Nice and simple. Pickaxe, +5. And if there's 7 of them, that's 1d6 is enough. And I don't think the dwarves are supposed to be a super serious threat. I think they're like, with 7 of them together is scary.
Yeah.
I
mean, you're a little intimidated to have to try and get out of this place with all these dwarves running around, but they're not.
I'm going to say they do things together like a flock of angry puppies. Right? Like they're always like grouping together over here and then grouping together over there and then grouping together over there. So like figuring out how to get them to separate is going to be one of those challenges. Okay. So that's enough for our dwarves.
Okay. We have about 9 minutes left.
We have about 9 minutes left. Okay.
So what are the final steps for trying to like figure out the ending kind of thing, or what are kind of the last steps that you like to think about when you're world building?
Great question. So there are a couple things that I like to do as kind of a wrap up to help me run the adventure really well. One of them is I like to think about pacing. So if our adventure, usually I try to fit things about 3 hours long. So I need to know where I want to be at 30 minutes, 1 hour, an hour 30, 2 hours, and 2 hours 30. So I think by 30 minutes, I want them
out of the dwarves.
Out of the mine. Kind of, yeah, like escape the mine. And then probably 30 minutes of like just like stretch time and exploring the forest and letting the players like talk about what's going on with the kids. So the kids are going to leave a trail in the forest, right? What kind of trail are they leaving? Maybe literal breadcrumbs? I think literal breadcrumbs, right, to hit the story beat.
Yeah.
So breadcrumbs and investigating the temple. And then probably 30 minutes for this encounter. Then by 2 hours,
get them like at the Merfolk place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then I think.
And then at 2:30 they've had the fight there, and they're trying to get into the sanctuary and steal the stuff for the Merfolk.
Yeah, I think hopefully by 2:30 they've finished the fight. So
with
then
the Merfolk, and they're going into the sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. And they're thinking like, oh, what do we do with these kids? What do we do with the items? And then they can choose what their exit point is for the adventure. So figuring out kind of that pacing beat. So then as you're going through the adventure, you can think about what elements to change. An important thing is often I'll have kind of crumple zones. So something that I know that I can cut if I need to. So I think in this, if I was going to cut something towards the end, I might just cut the Merfolk entirely. I might make it just be that the one kid is over here, and they're just like at the temple, and they're just like, wow, cool. And then you just find them. So with the little scissors icon, we'll cut the Merfolk fight. So I'll kind of do beats and pacing is another important thing. I'll often do a list of all of the proper nouns because I can forget all of those. So
like
what do we?
People?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've got hyper, bored, furious, drunk, nauseous, gruff, and hangry for our dwarves, and we've got Sir Stratford.
Mm-hmm.
Do the kids have names?
They definitely should. So do we know the names of anyone in chat? I know Husenold is Jerry, so one of the kids is Jerry. we should who is someone that we should honor in our maybe the other child is a girl. Kathleen, Jerry and Kathleen.
Oh, I don't think so.
So they should also be kind of D&D-ish names.
Yeah.
Let me. Do I still have that?
We have a Jess here too. Jerry and Jess.
Jerry and Jess.
I like that.
There we go.
Okay, I like that.
So Jerry and Jess are two kids who have escaped.
The dwarves.
Haven't gotten caught by dwarves, and I think the dwarves, they've just. Maybe the kids were like crawling around in dwarven mines, and they're just like, you're gonna have to mine for a day, and then we'll let you go. And the kids are like, we don't want to do it. Okay, so we have our kids, Jerry and Jess, our dwarves. What are those names altogether?
Hyper, bored, furious.
Hyper.
Bored.
Bored.
Furious.
Furious.
Drunk.
Drunk.
Nauseous.
Nauseous.
Gruff.
Gruff.
And hangry.
And hangry. Okay, great. Once we get to the forest temple,
we have the Shaw
Malone. Who is our knight, Sir Stratford, who is our ghost. And then I think the griffin I'm imagining is Jess. So I'll put those two there. Do we have any other power nouns? Once we get over to the lake. Is there a name for the building in the forest? No, it's not a convent.
No.
The sanctuary. Well, no, the sanctuary's over there.
Sanctuary's over there. This is the outpost.
Yeah. Maybe it's the outpost of the Silver Flame, because like that's her order, and then it's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Outpost of the Silver Flame.
And I just made that up because I think that looks like a silver flame.
Okay, I like that.
So the outpost of the Silver Flame and the sanctuary of Shaw Malone.
And then we had the oaths.
Right, the oaths as well.
Yeah.
Do we want to give names to the merfolk because the players might try to talk to them? There's like we had 3 of them. Maybe they're a family.
Okay.
So one of my favorite ways to come up with silly fantasy names is to, if you have titles of books or like authors in those, or something like this around you can just look at words and just mash stuff together. So like I'll take the Z off of prized and the lock. Yeah, Zedlock. Great. That's the wizardy one. That sounds like a wizard name.
Yeah, Zedlock sounds like a very wizardy name.
And then what are some more merfolkity ones? What about Citrally or Citterily? No. Maybe Shoelane could be a merfolk.
Shoelane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Shoelane.
We need one more.
Lessel?
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 Cool. I like it. So our merfolk are Zedlock.
Lessel.
Whose children, I assume that they just spawn 1,000 children. I don't know. Fish eggs. Lessel and Shoelane.
Oh, one of them wants Ariel and Brizzo.
Ariel and
Brizzo.
Brizzo?
For the merfolk. Yeah. Brizzo and Ariel. Ariel.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Me too. Okay, so I think that's all of all of our proper nouns.
Okay.
So we got our pacing, our proper nouns. If you have so a couple other things that I always make sure to include when I'm doing my notes are if there's like a complicated timeline involved, I'll always make sure I map that out graphically with dates, days of the week, etc. So it can seem like common knowledge once players ask about it. So they can be like, when was that? It was like, oh, the day before yesterday or last Tuesday, something like that. If you have a dungeon with enemies in a number of different rooms, it can be helpful to have those on a single list called an adversary roster. So you can keep track of them if they're like moving around the dungeon to keep things more dynamic. And then finally, I'll usually make a reminder card that I like hang on my actual monitor of my laptop with the things that I'm most likely to forget. So like the oaths that they have to swear when they kind of pass through that flame. Then maybe there's like 7 flames that they have to swear to. So I mean, those are kind of my final wrap-ups.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. So normally I would copy things down and I'd be transferring it to final notes here in a .grid notebook. Final pro tip, don't write in it like this, write in it like this. So then at the table, you have a GM screen just right there without an extra piece of paper. Yeah, I don't like GM screens. I think if you can be face-to-face with people without an intervening barrier, it can be a more open experience.
Okay. All right.
But that's sort of it. So I'm going to take all of these pieces and mush them up into a Google document for fun later tonight and share that with everybody to run at home.
Cool. Yeah, we'll be sharing this later on, and we're going to actually run this game. I've never DM'd before ever in my life, and we're thinking that maybe I'll help run this game. We're going to get a few friends of the store or somebody to come play with us in 2 weeks for our next RPG Sunday. And maybe we'll figure out how I can run a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in 2 weeks, I don't remember what the date is, but 2 weeks from today, that Sunday, we're going to be running this game at 3:00. And then the last, the Sunday before Halloween, we are going to run Dread, and we'll have the 25th of October. We're going to be running Dread, which is my favorite role-playing game because it includes Jenga. But it is a horror-themed game that I play pretty much every year before Halloween, where the decision-making mechanism is actually playing Jenga during this game. And we're going to have some of the staff playing Dread towards then. But yeah, I hope you can join us in 2 weeks and see how this plays out. But Camilla's going to be posting all of the details and stuff later on. So if you want to run this game, you can. And thanks so much for all of your ideas. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Click button.